Today I'm going to show you how to write a Visual Basic program procedure which solves quadratic equation of this form. Each output must be underlined using a procedure called underline. So we are going to use Visual Basic to see how to solve this problem. Let us now open Visual Basic. Now my Visual Basic interface is here. So I need now to design first of all the interface. So let me bring where coefficient A will be input. That's coefficient A. That is where it will be input. So let me bring the label describing coefficient B. Let me also bring a text box where this coefficient B will be input. Let me bring another label where coefficient C will be input, and let me bring a text box where the value of C will be input. So now I can line this text box. You can select all of them from here to the last one. Click format, align, then left. I can make them to have the same size. Box. So now bring the label describing where the value of C will be input. Let me also change the font face of, or the font size of these labels. Let me use font property. Now the user will input the value of A here, and B and C. Then after inputting them, because we wanted to find the real roots of the quadratic equation, so let me also call this caption value of the label 5x1, and also I have to print out the real root x2. I can now design the text box where, suppose the value of x2 and x1 will be printed through text boxes. Okay, now I can bring a command button where the user will click so that these results are found. So let me change its caption. Let me call it compute. Can change its font face or font size. Font face is MS Sans serif. So let me change this one to be bold. Okay, great. Now we are going to write this program using procedure that is called underline. Now what? So remember, a procedure is different from function, where function returns a value, and if we saw that procedures do not return values, rather they perform their task within their definitions. Everything's done within the definition. Now let's see how to program it. Let me first of all define the procedure name. As you're seeing here, the procedure name is here is called underline. Now here, let me first of all define it. I double click my form, So remember, it's better to declare or define procedures in the general sections. So remember, if the procedure is to be used in one part of the program, not in the entire program, you can define it with private access. So let's say private sub underline, that's the name of the procedure, bracket. So in this procedure we just need to call it. We need to call it, and then it does everything. It does not need parameters. We just call it and everything happens within its definition, right? So there is an error here. Private sub, there is an error here. It's right. Private sub, let me write the name of the function, underline. Yes, so everything is going to happen here. Suppose this procedure does not have parameters. So here I define everything inside the procedure here. I can say, so let me declare the variable that we'll be using here. I can say dim a, b, c, x1, x2, and delta as single. Single means when you suppose that values will be single, it means these are like float data types in C++, but in VB we use single. So here we can say, as we are having this text box, we have text box where the value of A will be input and B and C. So now let's say A equals to the value. It's better to convert these values, the value of text boxes, into numeric. I can say val text1 dot text. It means the variable A will receive a value from text1, then B receives the value from text2 dot text, text2 dot text. Then C will receive the value of text3 dot text, because the name of this text box, it is text1. The name of this text box, it is text2. Then the name of this text where C will be input, it is text3, right? Now after mentioning how the coefficient parameters will receive values from text boxes, let's now find delta. You can say delta, because remember quadratic equation, how it is solved, it has delta. So delta equals to the value of B times, let me use 2 power, I can use 2 power 2 negative or minus 4 times A times C. So that's how you can find the delta. So this operator in Visual Basic is like, it's like, say, B to power 2. That's power operator. Now let's start. I can say We are going now to start conditions of this case of delta. Let's say if delta is greater or equal than 0, then let me close this if statement. I can say x1 will be equal to bracket will be equal to negative b plus s2r. So s2r is a Visual Basic function or inbuilt-in function which finds the square root of a given number. So let's say here we have delta. This s2r is a Visual Basic function which can find the square root of a given number. So we divide by 2 times a. x2 equals to bracket negative b negative s2r bracket delta. That's the square root of delta. We divided by 2 times a. Now we have to print the value of x and x2 in their reserved space or locations. So x2 will be printed into text4 dot text. That is x1, which is going to be displayed into text4 dot text. Now text5 dot text5, it is this one. So text5 here, text5 dot text will be assigned the value of x2. That's when delta is greater than or equal than 0. Now let's say else you can say now, if now delta is not greater or equal than 0, it means when delta is negative, we can say msg box. Let me use a message box function. I can say now no solution. There is no real solutions. There are no real solutions. Yes, that's how it will work. So this is how our procedure underline will be defined. Now how can we execute it? Now we are going to see how to execute the function underline. It means we are going to see how to call it the Visual Basic. So normally this function underline, it is going to be called by using this command button. So let me double click so that I may call it. The code of the button, command button compute, they are going to be written down here. As you see, I can say because I need to call this procedure. I don't need to do anything else. So this command button, there's nothing else to practice here. It's just to call the function. It's just to call the procedure. It is just to call the procedure underline. So to call this procedure underline, which has no parameters, remember procedure does not return values. So I can write now call, then I write the the name of the function, underline, call underline. I put the bracket the way it is written. Now let's see how it will work. It means this is the function call, procedure call, that is calling a procedure underline. You are calling the procedure underline according to how the question is saying. Write a Visual Basic procedure which solve quadratic equation of that form. Each output must be underlined using a procedure called underline. Now let's run it and see how it will work. We click on the run button. Now let us now input the value of a. Let me put 1. Yeah, let me put 2. Let me put 1. So if I click here, what will be printed in this area where x1 is and x2 is? Now let's click here. You see, we have now -1 and -1. It means that this is where delta equals to 0. Remember, when you have this equation, where a equals to 1, b this is b, where a equals to 1, and so this is there is a plus here because this is how it look like. So remember, where we have the value of a that is equal to 1 and b that is equal to 2 and c which is equal to 1. So this is where x1 will be equal to x2 as you are seeing it here, right? Let's now put some new values. Let me put 3 here, and here I put 5, 6, and here I put 4 or 6. Okay, let me put 2. What will be the solution? Actually, the solution will be this one. X1 and x2, they are different. So let me put where like delta will be negative. I can say this is so let me put something like 2, and here let me put 5. So this is where delta will be negative, as it is mentioned here in this program. Actually, you see, when a is 7 and b is 2 and c is 5, so when calculating this delta, automatically delta will be negative. So will be in this block, will be in the else and if block, because the delta is not positive as you're seeing here. Okay, so you can continue this way and it is solved. So this is how you can solve this quadratic equation, which is easy. So let me add a new button for clearing. So let me put a new button for clearing values. So let me call it clear. Let me change the font size and font style, so it's called clear. I can also change the font face or font size of these values, right? So let me also program this button for clearing the what has been entered here. Can do double click, and you see the command button code will be written here, command 2. That's the name of the internal name. That's the internal name of this command button. When you look at this property window, you can find its value, its name. The name of the button here, it's not clear. It is called command 2. So when you double click it, automatically they write its name here, command to click. When the user clicks this command to, what will happen? So I can say text1 dot text equals to empty, even text2 dot text equals to empty, even text3 dot text will be equal to empty. It will be empty when this one is clicked. Text4 dot text will also be equal to empty, even text5 dot text will be equal to empty. This is how it will be looking like. Or these 5 text boxes will be empty when I click this clear command button. Now let's run and see how it will work. So let me put n value here for 7 and 2. Normally I will have x1 and x2 which are not equal, they are different. It means we are in this section where delta is greater or equal than 0. We are in this section. The reason why I have x1 and x2 are displayed in this way. So let's see now how to clear these values. When you click clear, automatically the values will be cleared. So this is how you can just solve a program Visual Basic where you consider all cases of delta. And so let's say, okay, there is no solution because in this case delta is not positive, but it is negative. Okay, so this is how you can solve this problem that I have